Alright, so the last video I posted, I went into this book and found an old school pattern that I tied, and a lot of you guys really liked it. So for this video, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to find a pattern that I think is overlooked and that will definitely catch trout, and I'm going to tie it up and see how it goes. So last time I did a dry fly, this time I'm going to do an emerger pattern. So this pattern is the one that I've decided on, the Partridge and Orange emerger. So the materials for this fly are going to be a size 14 nymph hook. I'm going to use some grizzly hackle and gold wire, orange squirrel dubbing, and I think that's it. So it should be pretty easy. Step 1, dress the hook. Alright, I'm going to use brown thread for this fly. We're just going to get some on the hook, get that hook shank covered up, snip it off. And then for the tail, I'm going to use some fibers from this grizzly hackle cape. Alright, so I got my hackle fibers. Now we're just going to tie them in a little less than the length of the hook shank. And I screwed that up. That's okay. Tie them in. Bring your thread all the way back to where you want to stop, right above the right above where the barb of the hook is, and then we're going to wrap forward and give ourselves a little bit of a body to work with. And then we're just going to snip off our front of our feathers here. Alright, next step is to add in some gold wire. So I got my gold wire. I'm going to tie it in right an eye length behind the eye is what I like to do. And then just bring your thread all the way back. And now we're going to dub the body. So like I said before, we're going to use some orange squirrel dubbing, and I think we're going to get a pretty good emerger type look going on for this. So let's grab some dubbing here. And with this squirrel dubbing, less is more. So if you don't want it to get all clumpy and you know, ugly looking, I like to do it in segments, so I'll work on a small section of the fly first and then work my way forward. It's just better to do it that way than all in one shot. It helps keep everything really neat and tidy looking. So that is part of the dubbing done. And I just have another clump here. I like to spread it out before I put it on the line, or the thread, good lord. Make yourself another dubbing noodle. And just finish that body right off. That's a little too thick for my liking. There we go. That's the look we want right there. So now that that's all set, we are ready to wrap our gold wire. So I'm going to whip finish this so that doesn't come undone. And now for the wire, I like to hold it with a pair of hackle pliers. I think it's way easier to keep control of it that way. So I'm just going to grab it with my hackle pliers and then start to wrap it. So we're going to do nice even body segments for this. And that should add a little bit of flash to it, which will help fish see it in, you know, tainted water, colored water, any kind of situation you're going to fish. And it's always good to have body segments on a fly. I think it helps add a lot of realism. So now that that wire is wrapped, we're just going to pinch it off. So it kind of slid down the bend of the hook on. Maybe that's okay. We're going to cover that up with thread anyhow. So yeah, just wrap that in, and then you can just spin or cut off your extra wire that you got there. And then the last step is to grab a feather from your grizzly hackle cape, and we're going to wrap a hackle around it. Alright, so I got my hackle all picked out, and I'm just going to tie it in right where we stopped before, right about there. And then for these soft hackles, you want the actual fibers to be kind of rearward, not really as stout as you would want on a dry fly. So we're going to kind of pull this back and do 2 wraps, maybe 3, depending on how it looks. And then tie that off. And then this is actually an important step for soft hackles. At this point, you want to pull all those fibers right back and then just wrap back over them so they're kind of oriented towards the rear of the fly. And that's kind of what it looks like, what it's supposed to look like. And then now that we got that off, we can go in and kind of touch it up. And yeah, that's exactly what we want it to look like. So we're just gonna whip finish, and this emerger's all finished up. This was another cool pattern from the book that we used for the last video as well. And I think it's gonna fish really, really well. I think a lot of fish are gonna rise to this, and a lot of the rivers I fish, orange seems to be a really good color to use. The fish seem to eagerly take orange when they're not taking a lot of other standard colors. So this is the finished up fly. I'm just gonna give that a quick spin so you guys can see what it looks like all around. And yeah, give it a shot, tie it up, and you know, fish it and see how it works. I think it'll work really well. So yeah, thank you for watching.